Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm checking out this new AI assistant that was introduced a couple of days ago. I think it was introduced. So yeah, it'd be something interesting because recently I've done the video about Gemini, which is the new AI model from Google, or DeepMind and then Google, because they acquired them basically. But yeah, so I've seen a couple of minutes of this already, and it does seem interesting, and it does kind of show you a glimpse of what the future would be like in terms of day-to-day lives with AI. So yeah, let's check it out.
The best way to achieve this is to break away from app-based operating.
Sorry, I was testing the sound and already started thing.
My name is Jesse, and I'm the founder and CEO of Rabbit. I'm so excited to be here today to present to you two things we've been working on: a revolutionary new foundation model and a groundbreaking consumer mobile device powered by it. Our mission is to create the simplest computer, something so intuitive that you don't need to learn how to use it. The best way to achieve this is to break away from app-based operating system currently used by smartphones. Instead, we envision a natural language-centered approach. The computer we're building, which we call a companion, should be able to talk to, understand, and more importantly, get things done for you. The future of human-machine interfaces should be more intuitive. Now, before we get started, let's take a look at the existing mobile devices that we use daily. The one device that's in your pocket, the smartphones. Like iPhone and Android phones. These guys been here for years, and we've grown tired of them. The problem with these devices, however, is not the hardware form factor. It's what's inside, the app-based operating system. Want to get a ride to the office? There's an app for that. Want to buy groceries? There's another app for that. Each time you want to do something, you fumble through multiple pages and folders to find the app you want to use. And there are always endless buttons that you need to click. Add to the cart.
It's funny how our day-to-day issues progress over the years because I'm not that old. I'm just turned 30, and I still remember the days with no smartphones. They were nice phones, they had games and stuff, but they weren't smartphones. Smartphones technically, it was at the beginning of the 2000s, I guess they started coming out, but the real kind of evolution of what smartphones are right now, I guess you could say basically it started from the iPhone, the first iPhone, because of the touch screen and the interface, etc. But even before that, there were smart-ish phones with Nokia and their Symbian, with the apps and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they were the um, innovators of that, but it did exist, But the current kind of like shape of the phones did start from the first iPhone, and from there it went crazy, with all the phones in different form factors, etc. Like folding phones now. So it's weird to think about it because before smartphones, we didn't do map the apps, for example. I think they did exist probably, but they weren't as good. I'm not sure if the phones had GPS at the time. To be honest, I have no idea. I was young at the time. I do remember them, but I was young, so I didn't use these things. But I do remember people not using their phones for navigation. They used the actual like device for on the phone on the car, like TomTom, etc. Which now they still exist, but I'm not sure why, to be honest. Because we kind of progressed past that. Everyone has a map in their phones. So it shows you basically the difference of struggles basically from different periods of life, of our life, of our technological advancements. We never really worried about having too many apps before. We never worried about having one app for traveling, and then we started relying on that. And now the worry now is that there are way too many apps, and that's what he's talking about right now. Anyway, there are too many apps for different things, and so now the struggle is that how can we do everything seamlessly without having to go to one app to do this, the other app to do that, etc. So it's just an interesting point in kind of societal progress. So let's keep going.
go to the next page, check the boxes, and jumping back and forth, and so on. The smartphone was supposed to be intuitive. But with hundreds of apps on your phone today that don't work together, it no longer is. If you look at the top ranking apps on app stores today, you'll find that most of them focus on entertainment. Our smartphones has become the best device to kill time instead of saving. It's just harder for them to do things. Many people before us have tried to build a simpler and more intuitive computers with AI a decade ago. Companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon made Siri, Cortana, and Alexa with these smart speakers. Often, they either don't know what you're talking about or fail to accomplish the tasks we asked for.
Yeah, it's funny. Like when I seen this, I was thinking it's funny how they didn't mention Google there. I was thinking I don't know anything about the company yet. I haven't actually done any research. Sorry. So this is literally the first thing I'm seeing of them. I've seen. I didn't realize it was this basically, but MK MKBHD MKBHD. Yeah, the guy like with the technology channel. I seen a thumbnail today or yesterday with the device in it. And then I saw this video. I was like, oh, okay. And then I realized that it was the same device, basically, because they both came at the same time, this video and that thumbnail that I've seen. So, have no idea what my point was, to be honest. So, I guess let's just keep going. Oh, yeah. My point was, it's funny how maybe they're using Google's AI model, Gemini, because I'm not sure if they created the model from like scratch or they're relying on an existing model like Gemini. So maybe they're using it, and that's why they didn't mention Google here, because Google Assistant is obviously also AI powered. It's like Siri and Alexa, etc. They're the same in terms of the functionality, but they didn't mention it here. It's just a weird thing.
Recent achievements in large language models, however, or LLMs, a type of AI technology, have made it much easier for machines to understand you. The popularity of LLM chatbots over the past years has shown that the natural language-based experience is the path forward. However, where these assistants struggle is still getting things done. For example, if you go to the ChatGPT and use their Expedia plugin to book a ticket, it can suggest options, but ultimately cannot assist you in completing the booking process from start to finish. Things like ChatGPT are extremely good at understanding your intentions, but could be better at triggering actions. Another hot topic is a field of research around what they call.
So that was true, because I have Wi-Fi enabled lights, and they're TP-Link. So in the box itself, and the reason about it basically is because I can control it through Google Assistant from my phone. And they advertise that in the box as well, but it also has its own software that you download as well. So the way Google Assistant works is you download the app, that specific app for the device, install it, and then you link it to Google Assistant. And then Google Assistant from there, whenever you give it commands, it goes through the app to control the devices. So it's not native to the assistant. It's not. There's no software they put in the devices themselves that interacts with the assistant. But the assistant interacts with the app that controls the devices. So that's how I think that's how it works. So the assistant itself, they can't really do much beyond doing things that are enabled by other apps, if you know what I mean. So it can control your device, your phone, because it's Google and it's an Android device, so it's already within the system, but it's interesting basically how he's talking about, for example, the example he gave where you search for the best ticket to San Francisco, for example. It can give you all the options, it can give you suggestions, etc., but it can't book the ticket for you. And I don't know, some people think that's a good thing. Some people would rather it book for them. But for me, I'm thinking about the consequences in terms of what if someone else is the controlling device. Because obviously there are things like voice recognition where it won't work unless it is you giving the commands. But that can be kind of bypassing many things. And also, Google Assistant is supposed to be registered to my voice, but I was watching a video on Google, on YouTube, sorry, which is technically Google anyway. But I was watching a YouTube video recently, and they said the phrase that activates Google Assistant, and it actually activated. So it's not really linked to my voice. Maybe I didn't set it up properly. I don't know, but these things could happen. And what if someone controls your device and buys something, or does something to your device? And that's kind of the worry here. So it really depends on how they kind of circumvent these issues.
Agents. It has caught the eye of many open source projects and productivity software companies. What remains to be solved is for these agents to perform tasks end to end, accurately and speedily. The problem is forcing a model to perform a task it is not designed for, whether for a language model to reason about web page using super prompts or screenshots.
Yeah, so I don't think about this like he was given the example of ChatGPT not being able to book tickets, and how I was explaining basically Google Assistant has permission to access the app that controls these devices. In reality, if what he's talking about, does the device, how does the device work? Is it like a code base in terms of like, does it have to? Because I'm assuming they have to kind of talk to different people to allow them access for this thing to control the, like for example British Airways. If you want to book a ticket, you have to go. If you're doing it yourself, you have to go to the website, etc., and go book a ticket. But does this AI go through coding to book this? In order, like, so in that way, if that's the case, then they have to talk to British Airways and gain access to whatever that functionality requires, or does this AI work kind of like a macros where specific clicks are registered on it, and well, not macros because that's a specific thing, because you can have a macro for copying and pasting and enlarging, etc., in like a specific order, but it wouldn't change, but so that would mean like you can create a macro for booking a ticket for San Francisco, and you use that to book a ticket to Francisco all the time. It doesn't work. But does it click buttons like humans do, or does it access through the software or coding? And that's kind of has all the whole talk about privacy and access to these websites. So it's either the issue here is either they need to talk to so many providers to be able to do what they're doing, or is the AI smart enough to actually do things like humans would just automatically. So does it go to a website and just click buttons, or like, so if it does that, then it's interesting to see how it does that. But I guess that's the only way we do, because otherwise, if they're talking about a complete assistant, then they will need to talk to so many providers for them to actually be able to do that. That's why Google Assistant and all of these things, they're not able to just do things like that. They need to be enabled and given access to do these things. So yeah, that's an interesting. Let's see how they do it.
We have yet to produce an agent as good as users simply clicking the buttons. To fulfill our vision of a delightful, intuitive companion, we must go beyond a piece of complex software. We want it to be in the hands of everyone. So, we first set out to fundamentally understand how computer apps are structured, and more importantly, how humans interact with them. We wanted to find a way for our AI to trigger auctions on behalf of users across all environments. We want it to be universal, not just a Chrome plugin or a limited set of apps, but everything: iOS, Android, and desktop. These applications share something in common: the interface. They all have a user interface. So, at a philosophical level, if we can make an AI trigger actions on any kind of interface, just like a human would, we will solve the problem. This insight led us to create the Large Action Model, or LAM, as we call it. It is a new foundational model that understands and executes human intentions on computers, driven by our research in neural symbolic systems.
So that's literally what I was talking about. So that's interesting because yeah, that's the only way they can do it because that's the limitation of these assistant apps. They can't do things they're not linked to. So if this can do it smoothly, I'm not sure how well they, because I don't think there's a standard to web development. For example, there are different web builders. For example, like WordPress, for example, there Wix, etc. They're all different page builders, so they would have different structures. I'm not sure if there's a just like a I don't know. It's HTML. No, not HTML. I don't know. There must be some kind of like a universal thing. I don't. Maybe it's either that or they have to train it on each website. They give access. I don't know. I don't, let's. I'm going ahead of myself. Let's just check it out.
The large action model, we fundamentally find a solution to the challenges that apps, APIs, or agents face. We solve it with interfaces. LAM can learn any interfaces from any software, regardless of which platform they're running on. In short, the large language model understands what you say, but the large action model gets things done. We use LAM to bring AI from words.
See in the picture behind them, like each section is kind of divided. I'm assuming this is like the visualization of the AI understanding what's available for it, I guess. On the left, I think maybe that's Spotify. So the buttons are separated, like the play button is separated, the like, information, etc. Each section is separated. So if you understand what each section is, that's interesting. How does it do that? I don't know how it would do that, but if it does understand each section and what each section does, then yeah, there's nothing stopping it from being able to execute what you tell it to, because it's not, like I said, it's not within the system, it's not within the software, it's just clicking buttons like you would. So yeah, this is insane actually, to be honest, because if this goes into, you can combine this with so many different things, and yeah, that would be scary. That's like this is a whole other function of AI. And in my head anyway, I don't know how this would compare to what AI is able to do, but from what I've seen from AI and assistants, etc., this is really interesting.
To action. Finally, we can build a computer that, in addition to understanding what you're trying to say, can actually help you do things on your behalf. We'll pack the large action model into an advanced RabbitOS operating system. It is built for real-time interactions between you and the Rabbit, powered by LAM. Large action models concept and test results are so powerful that we decided to make a one-of-a-kind mobile device. Introducing R1, your pocket companion.
Yeah, this is the picture I've seen of the thing. It looks weird. It's not a phone.
This is the Rabbit R1. Designed in collaboration with Teenage Engineering, the R1 is a fully standalone device, primarily driven by natural language. The accumulation of countless hours of work from our research, design, and software teams. It is simple to use. R1 is equipped with everything you need to interact with you and perceive your surroundings. It comes with a touchscreen, a push-to-talk button, and an analog scroll wheel, a microphone and speakers, and a computer vision-enabled 360-degree rotational camera we call the Rabbit Eye. It is Bluetooth and Wi-Fi capable, and it has the same card slots that supports global 4G LTE network. And now, let's see how it works. I can ask Rabbit for anything, just like if I'm using ChatGPT. The difference, though, is the speed. With RabbitOS, I get a response 10 times faster than most of the voice AI projects. Rabbit answers my questions within 500 milliseconds. With the push to talk button, you don't need to say anything to wake it up. Just press and hold the button and talk like a walkie talkie. Now, let's give it a
That's
shot.
good.
What's the nature of the reality?
The nature of reality is a topic that has captivated the minds of philosophers and thinkers throughout history. According to Bertrand Russell, reality is composed of hard data derived from sensory experiences and logical analysis. It is the amalgamation of our perceptions, thoughts, and the external world.
I can speak or type with R1. If you shake R1, a keyboard will pop up. You will also know that the response speed is much faster than using some of the LLM assistant apps with web browsing, such as ChatGPT. What's the stock price of Coca-Cola?
Searching for the stock price of Coca-Cola. The stock price of Coca-Cola, KO, is $59.76.
Who played the role Oppenheimer in Christopher Nolan's latest movie?
In Christopher Nolan's most recent film, Oppenheimer, the role of J. Robert Oppenheimer is played by Cillian Murphy. The film is a biographical thriller that explores the story of American scientist J. Robert Oppenheimer and his involvement in the development of the atomic bomb.
Now, let's see how the large action model works. With LAM,
Yeah, that's what I
Rabbit
wanna see.
R1 can interact with all kinds of applications.
It was very quick,
Introducing
though, if
the
that's
Rabbit
like
Hole
the-
web
an
portal.
actual interaction.
I can log into different services and unlock functionalities for R1. It's just like iCloud. Let's say I want to listen to some music. With the Rabbit Hole web portal, I have complete control over which services I want to activate on my R1 and which provider I prefer. For music, I use Spotify. So let's go ahead and connect my Spotify to the Rabbit Hole. Now that this is Spotify login page, before I start the login process, I want to emphasize our commitment to privacy. The way we design the infrastructure for apps that we interact with, we don't create fake users or spam users. We don't hack their infrastructures. And of course, we do not
That's what I was
store
talking about
any of
before.
your third-party credentials. Instead, we redirect you to their login page. We never save your username and password, and we don't track your data. The authentication happens on the respective apps. Now I'm logged in with Spotify. RabbitOS recognized that Spotify has been authenticated on my device. Before this presentation, I pre-authenticated some other apps like Uber and DoorDash.
Okay, so like I mentioned before, it seems like there are like a set number of websites or services that you'd be able to interact with. It's not like just universal everywhere, and that's what I was talking about in terms of how would they be able to interact with websites. So I'm assuming they have a list of websites that maybe they get permission to process them through this action model, or they just do it. Because do they actually need permission for doing that? Because they don't go into their code or anything like that. They just study the website that's publicly available. I don't know how they do it, and I don't know how many things are available for the Rabbit R1 to access, because that would affect how convenient it is for people, because let's say for example they have one like bank service. I don't know how they would use a bank service, and to be honest I wouldn't really connect it to this thing because it's scary. But let's say for example there's one bank that they have talked to, or they have the service for, and they don't have it for another one. Not everyone would be using that bank. So the convenient factor of this device kind of goes low very quickly, depending on how many services they can access. And that's what I was talking about. Is it global to everything? Does it just learn everything, or is it just or do they give it certain websites to learn and then provide the service? I'm assuming it's the latter, but I don't know how far along they got in that process. So it's really interesting, though. It's really interesting.
Just choose your preferred services and log in through them to get authenticated on your device. It's that easy. Now, let's play some music. Play Kraftwerk's Pocket Calculator.
Playing Pocket Calculator by Kraftwerk for you.
I'll be honest, I don't know if this is just AI or this device specifically, but its speech recognition is really good, because it's always like this guy does have like a strong accent. Because I remember one of the things he mentioned, he said the device will do auctions instead of actions, but it's just the accent, is strong. But this device understood him straight away, so I don't know if it's this device or AI generally, but yeah, this is the point I wanted to mention. I like the animation.
Play another song from the album.
Sure, playing Computer Love for you.
That's all the tracks from the same album. Who wrote the lyrics for this song?
Ralph Hutter and Emil Schult wrote the lyrics for the song Computer Love by Kraftwerk.
Which band sampled this song?
It seems that Coldplay's Talk is the only known example of a song that sampled Computer Love.
What do you think about this song?
Computer Love by Kraftwerk is widely regarded as a groundbreaking and influential song in the realm of electronic music. Its fusion of catchy melodies, robotic vocals, and innovative use of synthesizers has left a lasting impact on the genre.
I can also use R1 to call a ride. Get me a ride from my office to home now.
Of course, I will book an Uber ride for you from your office to your home. Please confirm the ride.
I have 6 people with 3 luggages. Find me an Uber that can fit all of us.
For 6 people and 3 pieces of luggage, I recommend booking an Uber XL, as it provides ample space for all passengers and luggage. Please confirm the ride.
The ride shows up, I just hit confirm, the Uber's on my way. I can also use R1 to order food.
That's really good.
Get me a 12-inch pizza from Pizza Hut delivered to here. The most ordered option on the app is fine.
Ordering a 12-inch pizza from Pizza Hut. Since you mentioned that the most ordered option is fine, I will select that for you. I just created an order for a 12-inch pizza. It's going to be hand-tossed with a classic marinara sauce and topped with regular cheese. Please confirm your order.
That sounds really good. I just confirmed the order here. Now I'm waiting for my pizza. I can also make
That's
R1
good.
to a set of more complex actions that may take multiple apps to finish on a smartphone. For example, if I want to plan a trip to London, I can just describe what I wish in full to R1. I want to take my family to London. It's going to be 2 of us and a child age 12. We're thinking of January 30th to February 5th. Can you plan the entire trip for me? We like cheap non-stop flights, grouped seats, a cool SUV, and a nice hotel that has Wi-Fi.
That's a lot
Exploring
of
ticketing options to make your trip a reality.
criterias. Yeah, that's a lot of criterias for it to go through.
For your trip, I found various flight options, a range of hotels to choose from, and car rentals available. Please confirm each option individually for further details and booking.
So it's all been planned out. I just confirm, and that's it. Could you come up with a schedule for fun things to do while I'm over there?
On it, I have prepared a detailed travel plan for your trip. In summary, you will be exploring London's iconic landmarks, visiting museums, enjoying delicious meals at local restaurants, and experiencing the vibrant atmosphere of different neighborhoods. Navigation.
It's interesting. Obviously, like we need to kind of see this in action by like a normal person, rather than the CEO of the company, because everything can be taken for. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm half asleep, to be honest. I just woke up in the middle of the night. I'm just recording this because I just came across this. But we actually need to see this in action in real life to see how good it is, because these are videos. They might show us the best things about the device, and it might not even work like this, because if you notice, after the whole trip thing, they didn't actually show us the screen. It might be just that it wasn't really needed anyway, but we need to actually see this in action. That's the only thing, because it is kind of crazy, especially that trip, because there's so many criteria for the device to think through and find a suitable trip. Yeah, so let's keep going.
Details are also prepared, and I can help you book tickets for any events you'd like to attend.
R1 just planned the entire trip for me. That's awesome. But it seems like this is a little bit too intense. Can you plan an easy schedule for us?
Sure, I'm working on it. Please take a look at it and let me know what you think.
It gave me a more relaxed schedule
Chill
every
UK
day
trip.
with all the details. Sounds really good. And I just confirmed that.
I can foresee a wonderful trip.
Isn't that cool, huh? R1 can help me reach others just like a phone, but smarter. It comes with a built-in real-time translator and a note-taker, removing the final barriers to communication. R1 automatically detects the language spoken in the environment and provides the bi-directional translation. R1 has an eye, an onboard camera designed for advanced computer vision. It can analyze surroundings and take actions in real time. To activate the eye, just double tap the button. Oh, funny seeing you here, Rick.
Let me take a look.
Can I do that?
Never gonna give you up. Playing now, enjoy.
Or got Rickrolled,
What?
I guess.
Am I getting rickrolled in my own keynote? Let's move on to the next one. This is what I got in the fridge. Can you make me a nice dish that's low in calories?
Let me
Really?
see. How about a green garden omelette? It's a delicious and low-calorie dish that combines the freshness of broccoli and cabbage with the creaminess of egg. Here's a simple recipe for you.
Nice. It recognized all the stuff and gave me the actual recipes. Rabbit.
That's really good. Yeah, so that's one of the things that I was really impressed with Gemini AI, the model, how it was like recognizing visually rather than just kind of by inserting a picture, for example, to something like ChatGPT. But with a camera, it would recognize things through the camera. So that was interesting. But he was talking about how he'd be able to reach friends. And that's another question I had in my mind about this device. And they need to really think about this because right now it's an extra. You know, we all have our phones and we got used to using it for different things, like using apps, and even if it's multiple apps, you know, we got used to that. And it's one thing in our pocket, but now we have to pick this up, which I'm assuming can't make calls. He said you can reach your friends or, you know, friends or family or something, but smarter. So I'm assuming it's going to be something like maybe text, dictating text, and you send in like a message or something like that, possibly. I don't know, because it does have a SIM card. So yeah, that'll be an interesting. I want to see if he actually is going to mention
I
that.
can also help you with your documents. Here's a table I've been working on for job questionnaire. Can you create an additional column that matches candidates who mentioned Rabbit in their questions about how they found us?
Sure, let me take a look at the table and add the matching column for you. I've processed the table and sent you an email with the results.
Okay, now let's check our
Okay.
email. I can continue to interact with RabbitOS even beyond R1. Let's reply this email directly.
Was that a picture?
Can you add another column that matches candidates who have included Rabbit in their question and are LA based? I just replied the email, hit send, and I got
That's
a
interesting.
refined version from RabbitOS through my. Let's say I have a unique routine.
That's really interesting because you're interacting with it by email as well. A continuous interaction from the device itself, which is kind of interesting. But even it recognizing the table and adding columns, yeah, that's really something, to be honest. It's just, yeah, okay.
Or task I can now do on my phone. R1 can do that too. We are experimenting with what we call the teach mode. Just like how I can teach my friend how to skateboard, I can show R1 how to do it, and it will learn from it. This means that any user, regardless of technical background, can teach R1 to learn new skills. So you go to teach mode, start a new session. Today, I will show you how to generate an image of puppy using Midjourney from a prompt using Discord. First, I will go to the servers page and click one of my own servers. Since this is only a general image generation, I'll go to Midjourney text channel. Then I will use the image command along with the prompt. Here I'm putting a cute baby wild dog with big eyes, animated cartoon Unreal 8K. Let's wait for a minute for the engine to start generating the images.
So is it right now basically kind of like a macro, like I was mentioning before? I don't know if I mentioned it or not. I was thinking about like how that's weird. That's 8K. I was still progressing. Yeah, so I was thinking about like how.
Once it's done, let's click on the image to get a link.
Yeah, so how in terms of how does it learn how to do things? Is it pressing buttons or through the program? And yeah, so I was talking about like how macro, you know, you can create macros in certain websites or certain software, kind of like Word, for example. That's the simplest one. A macro to do a specific process, you know, like so like copy and then paste and then create a table and then do something and then do something, you know, like specific things. So right now, are we teaching it how to do something new? So it will know the steps, and then it will kind of. So right now we're showing it how to create an image, but doesn't know where to intervene to. And for the image, for example, is the prompt. He added something that I don't know what. Obviously, this is just very quick. It's not gonna show us everything. But now, Rabbit is learning how to do this action with the necessary prompt in it. You know what I mean? So it knows how to get to this page, how to click there, how to get here, and then the prompt. And the prompt is the thing that it modifies, like each time depending on what the person says. So that's really interesting, because that means there's no limit really, as far as I understand, because right now we're just teaching it an action. So what I said before about it being like having a limited set of actions or websites you can interact with, I don't think that applies anymore, because obviously it depends with how it acts with login pages, etc. You know, because that could block it because he's talking about privacy, etc. So that could stop it from doing some things. But it looks like we can teach it to do things as well, like just generally actions. So that's really good.
I will then explain to RabbitOS how to use this Rabbit and annotate it so that I can generate anything, not just puppies.
Yeah.
So let's go back to our web portal, submit the request. It takes seconds for the web portal to finish processing, and that's it. It's that
simple. And it would be
once
interesting if it's like if there's some kind of like a community, what they call it, I don't even know how to say it, like a page, or kind of, you know, like if I have a rabbit and I taught it to do something specific, I can share that action to some page like in their website, and people just have access to it, you know. So that would be interesting. That's like the social media aspect of it, I guess. And it would help them develop the processes that R1 can do, so without them having to specifically do it themselves. So they kind of outsourcing their devices development, which is, you know, smart. But I don't know if they would do
finish the training. I can go back to my R1. Now let's use Midjourney, as I told you, to generate a picture of a bunny in pixel art style.
Certainly, Jesse. I will use Midjourney to generate a picture of a bunny in pixel art style for you. Please give me a moment to create the image.
Because yeah, it's relatively slow because it's actually doing actions by going there and there, and then Midjourney itself takes some time to actually generate the image.
Now here you go. You got an image generated on Midjourney through teach mode. Watch, learn, and repeat. That's teach mode. It's that simple. That's all the demos for today. With LAM fast evolving, my R1 will eventually help me to do things that can never be achieved on an app-based phone. Speaking of the current app-based phones, the first question we ask about ourselves is, why would I need a new device if I already have a $1,000 iPhone? My iPhone can't do any of this at all. We do not build Rabbit R1 to replace your phone. It's just a different generation of devices. The app-based system was introduced more than 15 years ago, and the new generation of native AI-powered devices are just getting started. Here's a quick recap. R1 is our companion that hosts the large action model with natural language. I can use it for a wide range of tasks. Ask anything, direct actions, complex actions, AI-enhanced video calls, note-taker, translator, with a Rabbit Eye, computer vision, and experimental teach mode. On the hardware perspective, we got a 360 rotational camera, a global 4G LTE SIM card, a push-to-talk button, and an analog scroll wheel. One last thing, what about the price? Now, before we reveal our price, I want to do a quick comparison. Here are some of the best phones on the market right now. You got iPhone, you got latest version of Android phones. We're looking at somewhere around $700 to $1,000 for a top phone with an app-based system. I bought my new iPhone 15 Pro Max last year, and it's the same experience as my previous ones. Here are not so smart speakers. They're asking roughly around $200. But they're
not
all
so
outdated.
smart speakers.
And finally, here are a couple of the new things with only large language models. You got AI Ping asking for $699 plus monthly subscriptions for their base models. You got Tab asking for $600. And you got Meta Ray-Ban glasses asking for roughly $300. Remember, these are the things with only large language model. We still think these were too expensive. We priced the Rabbit R1 at $199, no subscription, no hidden fees. You can order the R1 now at rabbit.tech. And we are shipping Easter 2024. I can't
That is quick. So what? Like in a couple of months, basically. That's interesting. $200. I mean, like, I guess that they have to do that because they're marketing it as an additional device, not something that replaces the phone. Which might hurt it, but at this price, it really might not. That's the thing. Like that's it's a smart way to price it, because if it was more expensive than this, then people would think, my phone can do everything. I'm used to using it to do everything. Why do I need an extra device? It's an extra thing on my pocket. But at this price, even just like out of interest, people might get it. And I'm thinking about getting this if it's this good. And I'm surprised it's coming out this quick. I really hope this is not just the US. It's probably just the US at the moment. Usually that's what happens with these things that come out. Kind of like innovative things. They usually start off in wherever they're produced. Not produced, because they could produce in China or something. But it's wherever it's based, the company, and then they kind of go global, obviously, which is understandable because it's a new company, I'm assuming. But that's really, it's a smart pricing for sure. Because I was thinking, as an extra device, I'm not sure, but that's okay.
Wait for you to experience the R1 for yourself. Thank you.
Well, that was interesting. When I seen the Gemini model conference, not conference, the demonstration, I was thinking, devices are coming. These devices are coming, and yeah, I'm surprised it came this quick. Obviously, I'm not sure if they use Gemini or they use something completely different, but it seems like it's very, very functional. And I'm thinking that experimental thing where you're teaching it certain actions, that covers the bit where I was thinking, it might not be that convenient if it's specific things that you can only interact with. And if they add that community action sharing thing, that would be another thing on top of that to basically add to this, because just look at Reddit, for example. There's so many different pages for so many different things people just want to do or want to know about, and that's how a community is built. You take something and just kind of build on it. So this thing, it will explode if they allow that. I'm not sure how far they're along they are, to be honest, but that would be really interesting. But yeah, so I hope that I have nothing more, because I was talking throughout the video, and this is going to be a really long video, I'm assuming. I don't even know how long it is. But yeah, I hope you guys like this. Check out the original video. I will put it in the description, and just learn more about this new wave of technology that will probably take over soon. I don't mean take over as in replace anything. I don't think something like this would not replace the phone, but it will change the way we live if it's successful. Yeah. So anyway, see you later. Peace.